I'd like to also thank some other partners. The Colorado Springs Fire Department today had the great fortune to have good partners all around our community. The Donald Westcott Fire Department, Tri-Lakes Monument Fire Department, Black Forest, Manitou Springs, Cimarron Hills, and Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Station all provided firefighters to backfill our stations so that your Colorado Springs Fire Department personnel could be up on the hillside working on this fire with those other partners that I mentioned earlier. The air assets that we had today were contracted through the state of Colorado. The large Type 1 helicopter, the Chinook that had the 2 overhead blades, that was able to make 7 drops on the fire. Each of those was just over 1,000 gallons, so they estimate they dropped about 8,000 gallons of water on hot spots on the fire. We also had 2 of the seats, the single engine air tankers that did a flyover, and they put down a fire retardant. And that fire retardant, they put down 2 flights, and they put down about 800 gallons in each one of those flights to create a fire line for us so that the fire line couldn't extend beyond Bear Creek Road. Those resources were instrumental in helping us get this fire, some containment on the fire. One of the questions we always want to know is, what is that containment? And right now we're listing it at 50% contained, with crews working the interior hotspots to ensure that we won't have any flare-ups during this evening. There will be night operations that will be ongoing throughout the evening, and those night operations are there to ensure that if anything does flare up, we'll have immediate resources on the scene, and with the capability of calling in additional partners if we need to, should there be anything that happens that we aren't anticipating. Right now, I'd just like to thank those firefighters that are up there on the fire ground. They did a tremendous job. When you all get the opportunity to get up there and you see where that fire went and the close proximity to the homes and how it burned right up to the homes, we have so many residents in Colorado Springs that take mitigation seriously. I can't thank them enough. The mitigation efforts that they have taken, and some of the mitigation efforts that we've done with our own fire department in the open space areas, kept the fire low to the ground and kept it from getting into those ladder fuels that we talk about all the time and growing up into the higher fuels and bigger fuels. Residents out in Colorado Springs that are along Electra Drive, you did a great job mitigating. Our firefighters and all of those partner agencies we worked with did an absolutely fantastic, and I would call it a heroic job, positioning themselves in between the fire front and those homes to create that fire line and do structure protection in a very effective way this afternoon. Very happy to report that there have been no structures lost and very minimal property damage apart from the vegetation in the wildland area. If there are any questions, I'd be open to those now. I'd like to point out for all of you too that if you really want a good interview afterwards, right over there, these 2 guys. I want to point out Kevin Junglin, he is the Deputy Fire Warden with El Paso County. His team was up there today, and also Chief Mike Myers with the Colorado Springs Utilities Wildland crew. Fantastic job, guys. Thank you. Oh, road closures. I've been reminded. We do have some closures of some parks, open spaces, and roads in the area. North Cheyenne Canyon Park is closed and will be through the evening. Red Rock Canyon open space is closed and will be through the remainder of the evening. Section 16 Trail is also closed through the evening. High Drive and Gold Camp Road are also closed. So please, residents, stay away from those areas. Okay, thank you so much for being out here this evening, and again, thank you to everybody who... Oh, did you have a question?
I didn't have a question.
Okay.
You were talking about that flyover happening at 5:30. Are you saying after that assessment is done, that's when we'll determine if people can go back to the homes who were evacuated?
After that assessment is done, they'll transmit that information down to our incident command post. The incident commander will then know where the hot spots are, redirect the ground crews to get to those hot spots, and make sure that they have them well in hand. And based on that feedback that he gets from that, we will be making an announcement on additional openings by 8 o'clock tonight.
And then you also talked about how no structures have been lost, but minimal property damage. Can you just tell us how close is that that fire getting to some of these homes in that area?
Burned right up to fences and right up to the backyards of houses. Is that a question back there? I'm sorry, sir, I'm not hearing anything you're saying.
Is it possible that the Electra Drive area will open up tonight?
The question was, is it possible that the Electra Drive area will open up tonight? And I'm going to let the incident commander decide at 8 o'clock whether residents can get back in. I can tell you there's a large portion of Electra Drive that will not be passable with vehicles tonight. And that's because our firefighting crews are positioned along Electra Drive, and we won't be able to reposition all of those resources. So it might not be passable for residential traffic. That's not to say that if the incident commander determines it's safe that people couldn't walk in, parking their car more distant from their home. But right now, the firefighting resources on that street have pretty well got it clogged up.
Are there any updates as far as the cause of the fire?
The question was, are there any updates regarding the cause of the fire? I did speak to the Colorado Springs Police Department. They are running down some leads right now, but there's nothing that we have to report at this time.
For evacuees, there are residents up there. Will there be, if they are not allowed back in tonight, will there be security in the area?
That's a good question for the Colorado Springs Police Department. I will tell you that I've got a high level of confidence with our police department that they will put patrols in the area to, if we have that area evacuated through the evening.
We're talking about how air support was essential in trying to up that containment. Can you tell me, how was weather a factor today? We had some windy conditions. Did that have any impact on spreading the fire even further or possibly impacting the aircraft?
Very early on in the fire, if you all were up here, there were a lot of very swirling winds. It was hard to get in a direction to pinch the fire off. It would change directions on us very quickly. Our firefighting forces had to be very nimble in their approach and how close they could get to it because of the swirling winds. Fortunately, we can see right now there's essentially no wind at all, and that helped us a great deal. Initially, when at 2:30's press conference, I reported that the smaller helicopter that was in the air today, the Type 3 helicopter, didn't drop water because of the lower capacity that it has and the swirling winds. I was later reported back to me that they just changed missions is what they did. It wasn't that wasn't necessarily the wind, but they became an aerial reconnaissance for us because they knew that the large Type 1 helicopter was coming in and that they'd be putting down more water. So it wasn't really due to the wind.
Also, another thing is, with the sun going down, does that mean, I know we have that flyover happening at 5:30, like you said, but once that sun does go down, does that mean the aircraft will have to land, no more air attacks or anything like that?
Yeah, we suspended the air operations tonight already. When you saw that large helicopter take off to the south, that was the last of our air resources that we called for this evening. At that point, we felt like they had it darkened down enough that our ground crews could get in there and safely put out hotspots.
Last thing for me, any idea of where this fire originated right now?
No, I wasn't here early enough on to tell you the area of origin. We'll determine that in the next couple of days and have more to report, I'm sure, on the cause and origin of the fire.
Can you reiterate what areas are reopened at this time?
That's the hardest question you've asked, Jen. Okay. The areas that are reopened at this time. Buena Vista is closed, and areas north of Buena Vista will remain closed until at least 8 o'clock tonight. Bear Creek Road and Gold Camp Road are closed. Vista Grande is closed, and areas to the west of Vista Grande also remain closed. And again, the traffic control points at Bonnie Vista and Vista Grande, those police officers that are manning those areas will be able to direct residents to which areas specifically are closed or open.